Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. How would you tell your significant other or boyfriend or girlfriend that you know that they are cheating? Well, that's the predicament of our first OP, so let's get started with that story. This one's from user Vincent Fond Garrett. Disclaimer, this story happens around the end of 2019, pre-bug. What is the best gift that says, "I know you're cheating"? I, male 28, just discovered my girlfriend, female 25, is cheating on me with one of her co-workers. She doesn't know that I know, and I would like to break it to her with a Christmas gift, but I'm running short on ideas for anything that doesn't borderline illegal. Herd Nerfer says, gift certificate for an STD test. Meganongs says, get her a nicely framed photo of the guy she's cheating on you with. You can probably get a decent one off his Facebook, and a cheap frame from Walmart. Slap a bow on it. LOL. While that is petty, I honestly think you shouldn't let it get to that point and just end it in a mature manner. TST DDJ says, leave web history for rings and honeymoon vacations, or accidentally leave open browser tabs with searches. Make a friend call home that the engagement ring is ready to pick up. At Christmas Day, make it look like you're going to propose. Bonus, do it in front of her family. Make a long rom-com crap talk about how much she means to you so she'll start crying. And, at the end, give her a neatly packaged cheap frame photo of this guy and loudly say, I know you're cheating, and you have until the new year to get the F out of my apartment, if she's living with you. Record everything in case she tries to accuse you of assault, stealing, or similar. Well, all three are pretty creative, but I do like the one where they say, address this maturely, just get out of that relationship. In any case, OP has given us a lengthy update with the whole story on it. So let's continue with that. A little backstory first, because I left it out of the original post. Let's call my now ex-girlfriend Beth. I am myself, and my roommate is Bruce. Bruce and I have lived together for going on 4 years. Beth and I started talking about January 3 years ago. Beth lived in another state. I used to live there, and that's how we met. And we talked for a year before deciding it was time to move her up here. There's more opportunity and overall a better quality of life. She moved up here and everything seemed fine. She got a job and started making friends. Well, our, Bruce and me, lease was up December 31st. Beth and I started looking for places to finally call our own. We found pretty much the perfect place. This is where things start to falter a little. A few days around Thanksgiving, I've noticed her texting non-stop all day long, which isn't necessarily out of the ordinary since she has several group chats with her friends up here and back home. The part that really stood out to me was that she was laying next to me texting a number that wasn't saved in her phone at 1:30 in the morning. I ask who she is talking to and she says her friends and Mike. I'm curious as to who Mike is because it's not one of the friends she normally mentions and she says she works with him. Fast forward a few days and I have to get up early to open my store. I go to swap the phone charger from my phone to hers, and when I do, her backlight lights up and shows a message from this unsaved number saying, "Hey beautiful, I just got home." This definitely piques my curiosity. I'm off the next day and she works early in the morning, so I stayed up and drank while she went to bed early. About 3 a.m., my drunken curiosity gets the better of me and I go grab her phone and head to the bathroom. She had basically been lying for a couple of weeks about them, hanging out and cuddling and saying that she felt more chemistry with him than anyone else. I was taken aback and I was hurt. I waited another couple of days and did it again. This time, Beth was talking crap on my roommate Bruce. She was making plans to go to Zoolites for a date with Mike and his friends. She was telling him how she would have left earlier in the year but didn't want to screw me on the lease. She was just going to suffer through being with me for a few more months and basically set it up for this guy to, wait, while they discussed when they could hang out around my work schedule. She and I were still planning on getting that place too. We had signed a lease, paid the deposit, and we were just waiting to take control of the property. The next morning, after reading through her messages, I went down to the apartments we were going to get and asked them to cancel our contract. Since we hadn't taken possession of the property, they were able to cancel it and keep the holding fees we paid. In order to cancel it, they needed both parties to confirm the cancellation. So they had to call her and ask if that's what she really wanted to do. I ran into an issue here of how do I cancel this without letting her know that I know she's cheating? So I lied. I called and told her I found a place for 3/4 the price and was closer to my job and would save us a ton of money in the next few months. She said it sounded like a good idea and I convinced her to agree to cancel the new lease when they called her. I had to wait because my boss throws a spectacular Christmas party every year and he had already purchased everything for her to be my +1. This party was on a Sunday and I almost ruined everything by being impatient. The Saturday before the party, she went out with friends, which I've never had a problem with. And then she decided to ghost me for the night, which she knew would tick me off and was well in her intentions. So instead of confronting her then, I went to Mike's house. His address was in the messages they sent back and forth. And I put the love book I made her for Christmas last year into his mailbox. I then drove to my job and slept on the floor of the office. Bruce sent me a message at 4 a.m. saying she had just gotten home. My plan here wasn't for him to find it until he checked the mail on Monday. My plan didn't work out. My assumption is that a neighbor saw me put it in the mailbox and gave him a heads up, because who checks the mail on Sunday? But Beth texted me that Sunday morning after a little bit asking why I would go to Mike's and give him her book. I know that she knows at this point, and I basically ask her what possible reason could I have for doing such a thing. Her response was basically, well, what do you want to do about it? And I told her, let's make it through the night, have fun at the party, and we would discuss everything the next day. We had fun at the party, went to a comedy show, followed by dinner at a nice restaurant. Everything went fine. My co-workers knew, but were on their best behaviors about it. She could tell something was up. She messaged one of her friends saying that she thinks everyone knows and is judging her. They did know, and they were judging her. We go home and she goes to bed because she has to be up early for work, and I set the rest of my plan in motion. I slept in the recliner, and after she left for work that morning, I drove down and picked up the U-Haul I had set up for us to move into our new place, and I loaded up all my big stuff and took it to storage. She came home, realized what I had done, took her cat, and left to a friend's house. Beth basically says she will be back in the next few days to get her stuff, so the weekend before Christmas comes around and she is waiting until that Sunday while I am at work to get the rest of her stuff. I tell her to hang out at the house because we need to talk and figure it all out. So she is there Sunday and is doing laundry waiting for me to get off work. I come in and I just start helping her fold laundry. I ask if her cat is enjoying her friend's house. Just small talk. After folding laundry, we go to the living room where I set up my gaming console because I'm still in the house for a few days and want to play games. As I'm rummaging through wires, I tell her that I'm glad she has a place to go and will be taken care of. She says she is glad for the same thing for me. I scoffed and told her I was basically homeless because of this whole situation, and she asks about the other apartment. I just tell her I lied. There was no apartment. It was the only way to get her to cancel the lease we were going to have. She sits in silence for a moment, then goes to the bedroom and starts crying. I wait a few minutes and hear the dryer finish. Her last load of laundry is done. I grab it and help her fold it and put it in some boxes. I help her out with her stuff. She comes in to make sure she has everything, and as she leaves, I tell her to drive safe and shut the door behind her. Now, the second phase of my plan was the scrapbook that she made me that was full of our pictures and concert memorabilia. I was going to wrap it and drop it off at Mike's on Christmas with the note that says, if she cheats on me, she'll cheat on you. But clarity hit me, and before she could pull out and leave, I ran out with the scrapbook I had hidden away and knocked on her car window. She rolled it down and I placed the scrapbook in on her seat. She said that she made that for me, I can keep it. I just looked at her and said, I was going to give it to Mike, but I've already been enough of an a-hole. They are your memories, you keep them. And I went back inside. I spent the last week of December working and using that spare time I had to move the rest of my stuff to storage and clean the apartment before the lease was up. I'm currently on a friend's couch, but have found an apartment in her complex that the landlord said I could have on the 15th. Beth and I are done. I love her, but I can't trust her. I watched her lie to my face for about a month. She knew what she was doing and didn't feel guilty about it until she was caught. I'm just going to move on, take some time to make myself a better person, lose all the weight I gained while she and I were together, get active again, find hope again. Thank you to all of the Redditors who gave sound advice, and a bigger thanks to those who wanted to help me be petty. You guys really cheered me up with your gift suggestions and got me through a tough time with the laughs. Well, OB, Beth definitely sounds like a sucky liar, and like you say, if she cheated on you, she'll most likely cheat on this new guy, Mike. So hindsight is, it's a good thing you're rid of her. Now, of course, it always sucks to be cheated on, but like I read in a different video, getting rid of the cheater opens up space for something better to come into your life, and that's what you're working towards. Getting active again and finding hope again. Alright, and on that note, let's move on to the next story. If you're dating or going out with someone in a regular way, but you're not official, is it cheating if they sleep with someone else during that time? Well, our next story is exactly about that. This one's from user throwaway hug F. My 27 male girlfriend, 22 female, of a year slept with another guy while we were taking it slow a month into dating me. I have been with this girl I'll call Jess for close to a year now. Since specifics matter here, we started dating around last Thanksgiving, but it was only about a month later when we said we're in an official relationship. I really liked this girl from the get-go, and we've gotten very close since then, and we're actually planning of moving together soon. Here's a problem. Recently Jess and I ran into a guy at a small get-together with mutual friends. They exchanged a weird look like there was something between them, but I didn't think too much of it at the time. During the party, something came up about a place Jess and I went to for a date. The time was clear since it was a Christmas market in my town. And again, I thought something was off about the guy. Well, later that night, I actually get a text from him. He got my number from one of the mutual friends, but said, "Hey, I don't know you, but I thought you should know that Jess and I hooked up right after Christmas." I confronted Jess about this, and I could tell she tensed up right away. She got this sad look on her face, but confessed right away. She said she had met this guy on Tinder and hooked up a couple of times, but stopped any contact before we became official. She said she wasn't sure we would get into a relationship at that time, but she still felt bad that I found out this way. She said she considered telling me, but was afraid it would ruin things between us. I told her I needed some time to think, and proceeded to get drunk that night and ignored her texts. The thing is, I feel very betrayed, and I'm really considering ending things. Sure, we weren't official when this happened, but we had already been on multiple dates at the time. And I thought it was pretty clear that we were moving towards a full-fledged relationship. On my side, I had no interest in pursuing other girls at that point because I only wanted to be with Jess. And on her end, she was definitely hinting at us evolving into a couple and strongly hinting at exclusivity. The other part that kills me is that during this early stage, Jess specifically said she wanted to take things slow physically until we knew each other better. But during this time, she hooks up with a guy she barely knew from Tinder? When I asked her this, she said it's different because she took it slow with me, specifically because she thought we would get into a relationship, but it was somehow different with a casual hookup. That logic makes zero sense to me. I don't really want to talk about this with my friends because I think they would hate Jess if we end up staying together, but I would like to hear opinions on here. Would you stay in a relationship like this if things were going well but the beginning was so shady? Now let's take a quick look at the community advice and then we can go for the update. Ancient Party says, all other things aside, it does make sense for me to take things slow with someone I'm pursuing a relationship with, but it doesn't matter for casual intimacy or flings. I am thoroughly not into dating multiple people though. Hardline61 says, in my opinion, if you're dating someone and moving towards a serious relationship, you don't freaking bang other people. This would be a deal breaker for me, but you do you, man. If you can't get past it, then end it. OP responds, yeah, that's how I feel as well. It would have been one thing if she was just talking to other guys in the early stages while we were still defining things. Of course, that's fine and normal. But it feels like a slap in the face that she found another guy to sleep with after we had already gone on quite a few dates and I made it clear I thought we were moving towards a serious relationship, which she seemed to also acknowledge. There is no way she didn't know I would feel hurt that she did that. So short and sweet, no, this girl is not worth your time, man. She knew what she did was wrong. That's why she didn't want to say anything before, because she thought it would ruin the relationship. Of course it would have. And the mental gymnastics of her logic is simply ridiculous. She was hooking up with whoever from Tinder, but she was taking it slow with you because there was potential for a relationship? F that, man. That's the sort of person you don't want to have a relationship with. But at this point, this is just me rambling because we have an update, so we know what OP is going to do. Now let's continue with that. I decided to break up with Jess. I kept going back and forth because I was worried I was throwing away a great thing over something that happened in the past. But the problem is, I thought I really wouldn't be able to get past it. I can't help think what she did was really crappy. Yes, I know that technically she did not cheat, but she knew that I wanted a real relationship and that we were potentially moving in that direction. But meanwhile, she expected me to plan and pay for interesting dates, court her, and prove that I was worthy for her while she happily hooked up with randos who basically did nothing but show an interest in effing. F that. In a follow-up conversation, it also came up that her friends sort of guided her to act like this. That she should basically allow herself to have fun and to keep her casual options open, but with me, to make me work for it and show that I wasn't just looking to sleep with her, but was capable of being a committed partner. The whole thing just seems so manipulative and ugly. And these were also mutual friends who I considered to be nice girls and now my friends as well. Now, I never want to see any of those pieces of S ever again. Anyway, I know this is starting to sound a bit like a rant, lol, but I felt pretty ticked off and basically called it quits. The breakup itself was actually quite unpleasant. No harsh words were exchanged, but Jess cried and we kind of talked about some happy times. I guess that's the hardest part about this. Like, I don't think she's a bad girl, and maybe we could have had a nicer future together like we did over the past few months. But in the end, I do think I made the right decision. I want to be with someone who treats me well from the get-go. Not someone who manipulates me while playing games just so she can have her cake and eat it too. So, keeping it short, OP, you did absolutely the right thing. Now, if you ever come up with your ex on Tinder, remember to swipe left. Okay, well, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope that you guys liked it. If you did, please go ahead and click like. If you still haven't subscribed, then go ahead and click subscribe with the bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Also, here you'll find 4 different videos, 2 from Lost Genre, which is this channel, and 2 from my other channel, LG Reddit AITA, a channel focused exclusively on Am I the A-hole? So go ahead and give that channel a try. Alright, and having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.